How excited are you?
Oh, I don't think I have any words still. I'm trying to just get over the fact that I'm actually on an AFLW list. That's insane.
Amy, walk us through last night when your name was read out, the initial feeling. Like, did you expect to be going to the Dockers?
Oh, the whole night was a bit of a shock for me. I wasn't expecting it at all. I was just excited to just enjoy the night and sit down and watch the draft. But to hear my name for Freo's first pick, it was amazing.
Did you have a bit of a preference as to where you might be heading? And is it good to be part of the Fremantle Football Club?
Oh, either club is amazing, so I'm really happy to be with Freo. They're an amazing club, and I can't wait to get started with them.
Are you a Freo supporter? I've heard you might be.
Well, that might change. Time will tell. But yes, starting last night, I am a Freo Docker.
And free last night?
Maybe.
Where do you expect? You're quite a versatile player. You play at the back, play up the front. Where do you expect your role to sort of be within the Freo Dockers side?
Well, being at Claremont, I've always been in the forward line, but in our state games, I did go back, and that was really good to change it up a little bit. It's always good to work in the minds of the opposition. So, it's really good to get a bit of both. So I'm happy to go wherever.
And if somebody said, describe Amy Franklin as a player, how would you describe her?
I get described as lanky a lot, all the time. But I think I'm known for my long kick and just being tall in the contest.
And your parents' reaction as to being picked up by Fremantle as well?
Parents are both Eagles supporters. They weren't bothered. They were really happy for me.
So do you think first game we'll be seeing the parents wearing the purple?
Oh, there's going to be a lot of purple around their house from now on. So yeah, they're going to be stoked for me.
And what's the conversation been with Trent as well, as far as coming into the team affair and the initial discussions as to when you might go in and meet the girls?
I'm actually going in on Thursday to meet them all, and I'm beyond excited. So it's crazy to think that I'm going to be working with the girls that I idolise. It's pretty crazy to think that Kiara Bowers rocked up at my house last night, so that was an amazing experience.
I'll get you to say that again. Who might be some of the girls that you're just looking forward to actually playing with?
Oh, the list just goes on. I'm really excited to meet all of them. Everyone idolises Kiara Bowers because she's such an amazing player, but also just Gemma Houghton. I think I'm pretty similar to her in that kind of aspect, so I'm really excited to get working with them all.
What was your reaction when she rocked up last night?
Wasn't expecting it. At first it was a shock to get picked up by Freo, but then getting a surprise by her, it was an amazing experience. First thing she said was, "Can you shrink a little bit because I'm a bit taller than her?"
As far as you said, like Gemma Houghton being like her, what other kind of players do you look to sort of model your game?
Not speaking in Freo, but I really like Ellie Blackburn. I really like the way that she handles one-on-one competitions and just the way that she uses the ball.
And any other girls that, I guess, Claremont, that's where you've been picked up from. Are you feeling at home being able to play alongside some of the girls that you might have come across in, whether it be under 18s or at club?
No, I'm so excited to be working with some of the under 18s girls. I'm so happy for them all. And at Claremont, I know Pewee. She came to my house last night, so that was great to see her after it. A familiar face is always good to see.
And who else should we be on the lookout for? There were 6 of you that got picked up. Can you describe a few of the draftees and what they're going to bring to the club?
First of all, I'll start with Michaela. She is seriously an incredible player. You don't really come across, a small girl that's fast like her, and the way she uses the ball and without the ball, she's an amazing player. Same with Dana East, sorry. She's an amazing player too. We're all very different, I think, and I feel like that's going to be good for Freo.
And obviously there was that beautiful vision of you reacting to the draft pick, but we hear that there was a sort of, they were trying to trick you with the cameraman in the house. Can you explain that and how Trent's going to regain your trust?
Yeah, Will, the WA Commission photographer, he came to the house and he said that he was from the Commission, and then he revealed his identity afterwards. And starting off the friendship with lies, it wasn't great, but I'm sure you can work past that.
And you share a last name with another fantastic forward of the game in Buddy Franklin. Any similarities there?
Oh, I guess I could say that I'm related to him, but I'm not. But it's funny, when I looked at some of the photos of me online, it's about 50 pages of Buddy Franklin. So that was good to look through too.
You mentioned that there's a bit of a family connection there as far as the gene pool. Can you walk us through your granddad and what he did for the club?
Yeah, he played, I think, 263 games at Claremont. I'm not exactly too sure, don't hold me to that. But he was always such an amazing footballer. Again, I don't think I got my height from him. He was pretty small. His nickname was Moose because he was a pretty built, small player. But I always idolised him, and I mean, he's probably one of the reasons why I'm here today. Just keep pushing for him.
Trent, where do you see Amy playing most of the week?
I think she's a natural key forward who'll end up being a really good key forward and focal point for us. But she's also a very competent defender and could easily play there early on. And I could easily see her develop into a bigger midfielder as well. So I'm not pigeonholing her yet, but I'd love to see her even play back on a Gemma Houghton type through our pre-season to develop her forward craft and her back craft, and then they could be a very dangerous pairing put together up front as well. So yeah, that's one of the beauties of Amy, is she can play across all three lines.
Is that what attracted you to her as a player to start with? Is that sort of flexibility? Yeah,
the flexibility and the height. You don't see people with Amy's height and athleticism very often in the AFLW. So, and then with that flexibility as well, we think that she can develop into any number of positions. And that was definitely one of the attractive things about her.
How do you rate your draft haul overall?
Yeah, we were really pleased. Obviously, we only, after the picks come in, initially we only had 2 out of the first 7. So West Coast had 1 out of the first 4. So we weren't sure exactly how it was going to end up for us, but we're really happy with the mix. Our top 3 picks, we said we were going to go for best talent. Unfortunately, the way it fell to get Amy as a tall that can play across 3 lines, Dana East, who we think is going to be a really good inside midfielder, and Michaela Takarana, who's just an excitement machine who can play forward and maybe end up in the midfield as well. It gave us really good balance, which gave us then options at the back end of the draft, and we picked a few more mature types who we think are capable of playing round 1 as well. Yeah, we were always going to go the best talent. We thought there was 6 or 7 really good picks in WA, so we're just going to take whoever was available with the talent and look for those needs later on. We probably needed a backup ruck on our list, so we got that with Sarah Wilstra, who is also a really competent forward as well, so we're happy with that. And we're looking for to develop some midfielders, so we've got a few there, like Dana East definitely, and like we said, Amy we think could end up there at some stage as well.
And you kind of went outside the WA talent pool early. What was your reason behind picking her out of the available talent?
Yeah, she was an interesting one because we were looking at quite a few VFLW games for a few different players. Nearly initially wasn't on our radar, but was really impressed with a couple of her games late in the year. Her last 2 games of the season, she had 32 and 33 possessions and kicked the ball really well. So made a few inquiries and then got hold of Ellie to see what her football story was. And she was late to football, didn't play before she come to university. She's from country Victoria up in Yarrawonga, and I said, you kick it really well, which is unusual for someone who took up the game late, but she's got 5 older brothers, so obviously a lot of work done with them, and yeah, she's just developed as a footballer. So did a bit of research, spoke to some former coaches, including Scott Gowans, who is a successful AFLW coach, and he highly recommended her. So spoke to Ellie. She's a school teacher who's happy for a sea change, and we think she can add to Ellie. She's an elite runner as well. Fitness and running capacity is a big part of our game plan, so we think that she can add to that.
When you look at your list now, do you, as a complete list, do you see a chance to challenge for a premiership?
Yeah, absolutely, we do. We'll probably be the 3rd youngest list in the comp after this draft, around that area, but I think it's a bit different to the men's space. If you say you got the 3rd youngest list in the men's, they're normally not. They're in a building stage and aren't challenging. I think it's different now with the talent pathways. The girls coming through, these younger ones can make an impact straight away. And so we're not expecting Amy to be a player that we build a team around, but we're expecting that she can come in and play a really significant role early on and help us challenge those top sides.
When you say that she has an unusual ability to play across 3 lines, especially in midfield as a bigger midfielder, is that an evolution that we're seeing in AFLW now, that sort of move to the bigger midfield types?
I think so, and we've probably seen it in the men's game as well, that it was normally, you didn't see your Nat Fyfe, Patrick Cripps type of midfielders, and that's become evident. In the women's game, I think it was definitely a lot smaller midfielders to start, but we saw last year the evolution of a few bigger ones coming through, and we do lack a bit of size through the midfield. And I'm not sure that Amy's going to be ready to play there this year, but going forward, she can do that. And we'll look to mix a few things up ourselves to get a bit bigger in the midfield with some of the players we've already got on our list.
And just on the midfield, you said that was your biggest need after the loss to Melbourne in the finals. Do you feel happy with the sort of internal improvement you can get and the girls you brought in?
Yeah, definitely. We would have liked to have brought in that particular bigger bodied midfielder, but we weren't able to do that, and there was no one really in the WA draft pool either. But we've worked hard with likes of Phil South, who's played some really good minutes in the midfield, and Roxy Rue is another one who's played some good midfield minutes for East Fremantle this year. So we think that we can cover that internally in the short term, and then look to build on that in the longer term.